Hi, my name is Kyungdo, and a second year student. For now, I'm in South Korea. To be specific, I live in a coastal city called Busan. My project explores attractiveness. Here's an overview of my presentation today. 10 attractive factors were selected based on a pilot study, a study based on the use of tools, and a survey conducted with an unspecified majority. Hinged on this, I investigated cases where attractiveness influenced the revitalization of deactivated areas. I will select a new site to apply this mechanism and suggest and share with you the possibility of activation. In the Korean War, the majority of South Koreans evacuated to Busan, so that had effects on creating squatting zones in the city. This will be explained in detail later. In order to understand different perspectives, I did a survey. I created capturing tools using augmented reality that both physical and digital. It was created to recruit attractiveness. People can use this tool to recruit attractiveness more easily and share it with each other. I categorized attractiveness that people felt in common by organizing data of the attractiveness they recruited. I made it a symbol separated by size and color, so it can be easily recognizable. This cock-shaped symbol can be shared and interacted with each other, just as a polarity of cocks can be interlocked and interacted with each other. As a result of developing and using tools to gather data on what people are attracted to, I was able to organize 10 common attractiveness. I went out and matched my area using the aforementioned criteria. Using my journey as a prototype, I selected 3 participants from the Instagram Q&A and mapped their emotions. DJ Summer linked the attractiveness he felt on this journey to music. Somi Choi associated it with colors. Jungwon associated it with a note-taking. What they all found common attractiveness was activity. The activity they felt in common was something they could experience for themselves, including viewpoints, trails, and beach trains. I had to improve my understanding of Busan to find the case where attractiveness was applied, and I made a stakeholder map for it. Next, I tried to find out the case that was reactivated by attractiveness. The parts that I was interested in on the stakeholder map were events, individuals, and topological characteristics. As an example, Gamcheon Culture Village, located in a mountainous area with a steep slope where no people live. There was a squatting story. During the Korean War, most of South Korean population flocked to Busan, which increased the population density. It affected the formation of the squatting zones in Busan. Plus, it was once deactivated after Korean War, but now more people visit by increasing its attractiveness. And then, while looking for another case, I found Hyundai Railroad. It was a place urban regeneration has taken place newly. Although it has been deactivated in the past, it has increased its attractiveness as a tourist attraction by adding activity, specifically skybike, beach trains, and trails among the 10 attractive factors. In the past, this place was known as the most beautiful railroad track in Korea. It was necessary to extend the railroad to meet the increased demand, but it wasn't possible due to the topological character of the slope. Therefore, Busan Donghae-Nambu Line was closed in 2013. As a part of urban regeneration project, a seaside train, sky capsule, and seaside promenade were made on this closed line. The program has reactivated the site. So this closed line has reactivated. From this case study, I felt activity, which was in the 10 definitions of attractiveness, can contribute to a place become an attraction. In the sentence above, the term attraction was used as a noun. Therefore, I will find and introduce a place where it can be reactivated by applying 10 definitions that I researched in advance in deactivated sites. While doing a case study and pilot study, I was attracted to one spot around the railroad. To be specific, it was an abandoned house tangled with ivy. The reason why I was attracted to this house was that it was deactivated space, unlike the railroad tracks succeeded in revitalizing nearby. So I got to think about it myself as like enacting my methods in order to find my site. As I investigated why this place was abandoned, and I found out that there was a squatting story. Most abandoned houses are covered with ivy. It means abandoned and unused. However, I wanted to create usable and continuous space using ivy as a symbol of derelict house. Ivy can have some kind of infrastructure qualities the same way that the house represents a need for space. This map shows the characteristic of the city, and this map shows the use district, load condition, and traffic volume around the site. The site has a story of squatting, and this analysis shows the site windows, views, topological features, and some paths. In this abandoned building attracted by ivy, I found three interesting things. The first one is squatting story with geographical features and historical background. Second, semi-underground building. Usually people tend to think of semi-underground as an unsuitable place to live. However, it is possible to overcome the typical shortcomings of semi-underground building because there are no buildings around and the site is well ventilated due to the slope feature. Moreover, by making the building semi-underground, it can avoid ruining the view from the attraction that exists right behind the site. I also investigated land ownership of the site in the course of researching the squatting story. I propose to create a mixed-purpose complex on the activated site that has squatting story. It can be a monument attractiveness, but also attractive to people who need it, like making a series of structures that are able to inhabit and be used. Because I would like to support vulnerable people and also I would like to draw people's attention and as they experience, they understand this environment and situation deeper so that this issue can be addressed further. I applied activity and story as a representative of the 10 attractiveness established in the second chapter. Since it will take different times to negotiate depending on the site owner, I set the land owned by the government and companies as phase 1. Privately owned sites are planned to proceed in phase 2, because even if it's a single site, it has multiple owners. Also included in phase 2 is one squatting house and one squatting farmland. I put programs into the complex based on the zoning and pacing. In the open space, the public park with an attractive pattern derived from the pattern of ivy provides amusement to people. In addition, the existing level of the ground and the shape of the land allow people to enjoy the panoramic view. First, ground floor. The majority of space will be used as a public park. There is a gaping wall extending from the existing retaining wall. This separates the car's driveway, which is connected to the vertical circulation with the public park's circulation. The vertical circulation will be used for the supply of goods in the pop-up store and for disabled people. A curved viewpoint that provides a panoramic view, and a hammock provide entertainment. The derelict housing with structural reinforcement will be used as a pavilion. Part of existing building that has squatting history has been preserved, and structural reinforcement has been made for safety. In addition, the ivy leaf-inspired structure extends from the existing structure, and the ivy, which naturally extends along with the structure over time, connects the building with a new attractiveness and an existing story. This Excel section shows how my proposal was applied in this complex. The ground floor connects the complex with the sea located right in front of it. On the first floor, people can lie in a hammock and enjoy white noise from the sea, or they can enjoy the stunning scenery at the curved viewpoints. People can also enjoy the local food at the pop-up store located right behind the viewpoint and browse it. Or they can sit basking in the warm sunshine in the park. On the second floor, people can use the pavilion that symbolizes the squatting story, or avoiding the scorching sunlight under the pavilion. The shadow can be cozy for someone, and they can sit around and relax on the bench. The third floor connects this complex with the tourist attraction that exists right next to it and has the effect of win-win with each other. In this multipurpose complex, various attractiveness contributes this deactivated site can be reactivated. While people are utilizing this coexisting complex, they will realize that they had been blown past these social factors or thought of something as nothing. This little alignment will have positive effects on preventing this issue and addressing them in the future. To sum up, I revitalized the deactivated site by applying some of the 10 attractive factors that I investigated in Chapter 1 to the site to create an attractive space. The benefits of my proposal can be summarized in two ways as follows. First, it can provide inhabitable space for those who need it. Second, it can inform people of squatting and provide space to contribute improving their prejudice. For instance, it uses the interior space of pavilion to describe the history of squatting and the background in which the building was constructed. The complex will serve as a landmark for the region, which simultaneously shows the squatting history of the site, the past, and the renewed present. And that brings us to the end. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention today.